They say walls remember, that if something truly terrible happens in a place, it clings to the air, settles into the wood, the dust, the paint. Back then, I didn't believe that. I was 19, a broke college student, desperate for a room I could afford. When I found the ad, it seemed too good to be true. Cozy guest room in an old Victorian house, quiet neighborhood, cheap rent, must love cats. I called. The landlord, a gentle older woman named Mrs. Ellerby, said it was mine if I wanted it. No credit checks, no fuss. Looking back now, maybe that should have been the first red flag. The house sat at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac, tucked between two overgrown lots. It looked like it had once been beautiful. Deep green shutters, tall windows, a wide wraparound porch. But time had worn it down. When I arrived, she greeted me with a warm smile and a cup of tea. The kind of woman who called you dear and wore lavender perfume. I remember how she looked at me when I said I wanted the upstairs guest room. A flicker of hesitation, a pause that lasted just a second too long. Then, "Of course, dear. Let me show you." The room was small but cozy. Slanted ceiling, floral wallpaper, creaky wooden floors. There was a built-in shelf on the far wall and a window that overlooked the garden. It smelled faintly of old wood and something else I couldn't quite place. Something sweet, like dried flowers. She told me it had been her daughter's room once, years ago. I didn't ask more than that. The first night passed without incident, but starting the second night, things changed. I woke up around 3 a.m. Not because of a noise, but because I felt watched, like someone was standing at the foot of the bed. I sat up quickly. Nothing, just the soft ticking of an old clock down the hall. But I couldn't shake the feeling. It settled into my chest like cold water. Over the next few weeks, the strange things began to pile up. The closet door, which I always shut, was open almost every morning. The light above my bed flickered, only when I was alone. Books would fall off the shelf with no explanation. And the dreams, always the same. I was standing in the garden, barefoot, under the full moon, and someone was crying. A girl's voice, soft, broken, asking for help. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, gasping, sometimes with the faint scent of lilacs clinging to my sheets. One afternoon, I decided to clean the bookshelf. Dust had built up thick along the edges. As I ran a cloth across the back panel, I felt something shift. A hollow sound. I pressed on the wood. A small compartment popped open. Inside was a notebook. The cover was faded pink with cartoon stickers peeling off. I opened it. It belonged to a girl named Becca. Her writing was loopy, cheerful at first. She wrote about school, friends, her cat. But slowly, the tone changed. "Mom won't let me go outside anymore," she wrote. "She says it's for my own good, but I feel like I'm disappearing." And then, some nights, I hear scratching under the floor. I think it's someone trying to get out. My chest tightened. Who was Becca? I took the notebook to Mrs. Ellerby. She froze when she saw it. That belonged to my niece," she said quietly. "She stayed here one summer when her parents were going through a divorce." "What happened to her?" I asked. She didn't answer at first, just stared out the window. "She ran away. At least, that's what they said." But there was something in her voice. A crack. She was hiding something. That night, I couldn't sleep. I laid in bed, clutching the notebook, heart pounding. At 3:17 a.m., I heard it. A soft knock. From inside the closet, I stared at it for a full minute before getting up. I opened the door. Just coats, boxes, dust. But on the inside of the door, drawn in tiny pencil marks, were rows and rows of tally marks, hundreds of them, and scrawled beneath, in shaky handwriting, "I'm still here." The next morning, I packed a bag and told Mrs. Ellerby I was leaving. She didn't try to stop me, just handed me a folded piece of paper. "If you want the truth," she said, "go here." It was an address, a local newspaper office. I went, and what I found made my skin crawl. Becca Langston, age 14, reported missing in 2003. Last seen visiting her aunt's home on Alder Lane. My room, that house. The article said she vanished without a trace. The family claimed she ran away, but friends reported she had seemed scared, that she whispered about voices in the walls, that she was afraid of being locked in. She was never found. Case still open. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I called the police. They searched the property. And in the crawl space beneath the room, tightly sealed behind old boards and insulation, they found bones. Small, fragile, hidden for nearly 20 years. Becca had never left. I moved out that week, but I still dream of her. I see her sitting on the edge of the bed, smiling faintly, like she's finally at peace. They gave her a proper burial, put a gravestone in the local cemetery. I visit sometimes. I bring lilacs, and I sit in silence, listening. And sometimes, when the wind is just right, I hear her say, "Thank you for seeing me."